everyone, and welcome back to another book club. I am the Rat, and this is the Rat's Nest. I'm joined today by Trevor. Say hi, Trevor.
Hello, it's me, Trevor. That's my name, also known as BTS Meal. I don't think you've ever introduced me as BTS Meal.
No, that's the bit. That's the bit, Trevor. Is I never call us by our character names. I say I'm the Rat. I say I'm the Rat.
Just
but
it's
just
the title.
It's just in the title and the description. In which case, I never use our real names.
Oh, okay.
That's the funny
so you're
bit.
Not. Are you? Never mind. Just whatever. I don't care.
Bro lost his train of thought. That's so. Steel Ball Run.
I have the train of thought. I just don't want to explain.
Oh my gosh. Steel Ball Run.
Yeah, funny fart,
Valentine.
Man. We get yeah, exactly. That's
Dude,
his
I had
name,
that exact same
Valentine.
thing yesterday. I was talking about him to Kyle, and I was like, funny. I was like, funny Valentine. That's his name, isn't it?
Exactly.
We read through
yes.
Ticket to Ride through the first half of D4C.
Yeah. Well, the end of Love Train. I don't think the next part is called Love Train.
It's not Love Train. So, Trevor, overall, this little section, right? What do you think?
It was really cool. We got to see so much about like what D4C actually does, and it's a good glad that we now have more information on that.
We also got to see Ticket to Ride, which is funny Lucy Steele stand. That was this part, right? It was the first couple chapters.
Yeah,
where you have Lucy Steele, and she cries, and her tears are like formed into a blade, and she cuts, and she brings misfortune to the places that she cuts, or fortune, right?
Yeah.
So like it's fortunate for her, right? So for example, she like grazes this guy's eye, right? And he gets like glass thrown in it and like water, and then like he gets shot in his eye, in the eyes, rip. But also later we see her use it to cut her dress that she wrote a note on, that funny Valentine ripped up. That then, through a series of coinkydinks, happened to, one, put itself back together, and then two, land in the exact same spot she put it. So this, Trevor, is the beginning where we get to see, as we see later with Love Train, the flow of good luck, I guess you could call it. That's kind of an interesting way to word it, I suppose, is the flow of good luck. But that's essentially what it is. What do you think of the entire Ticket to Ride sequence specifically? And by the way, that is Lucy Steele's stand, and it's called Ticket to Ride.
Okay,
it's the name. It's the name of the stand.
So it was interesting. It was interesting seeing like just what specific pieces of the corpse parts can like do specifically. Like we get to see that funny Valentine uses both of the eyes together to talk to Lucy.
It's interesting.
And it is interesting. Additionally, on that is he knew about Lucy's stand, which before she did, which doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Well, did he know about it beforehand, or he just figured she would get one?
No, because he said, cut, don't cry. Yeah, like he specifically told her to cut, don't cry, and so like it's the piece of information that she needed in order to actually use her stand for the first time. So like,
I guess so. I thought. See, I mean, I guess knowing that that's Valentine is odd. Maybe he saw it with the eyes, or maybe like that itself was the unidentified saint telling her what to do, and then Valentine just piggybacked off of that. Regardless, it's an interesting little sequence. I don't think Valentine knew exactly what the kind of effect the corpse would have. As we see later with Love Train and him being surprised by it, it's pretty clear that he didn't. So I almost think that maybe then, like, that was the unidentified saint talking to Lucy, and then funny Valentine just piggybacked off of that. Or did he know it was happening? I don't know. But because it doesn't make any sense for him to know her ability.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is interesting to think about, though. Yeah, it's an interesting little section. We also get to see, is funny Valentine evil? Because he's like, I swear in front of the corpse, I'm not going to harm you or your husband, Lucy Steele. And he's like, Lucy Steele, you're my goddess. which seems a little bit sacrilegious to say in front of this unidentified saint.
Yeah, who may or may not be a Jesus. Honestly, I'm kind of in the camp that it is actually Jesus.
I know,
it's just there's just too much, like saying that like, oh, it because timeline works and like like the whole like virgin birth kind of thing, that's very reminiscent of Jesus.
Mm-hmm. And then him saying this whole thing about spin, like as we know in our universe, Jesus was a spin user. So that's just
in real life.
In real life.
User.
Yeah, he was a spin user. But yeah, so it's an interesting little sequence, and we get some more little funny Valentine man, and then they're on a train, and then we get D4C and D4C Love Train. Trevor, I don't know if you picked up on this. D4C Love Train is kind of good. It's kind of a good stand.
It's a pretty solid ability.
Yeah, it's a pretty good stand. Like, depending on what kind of a mood I'm in, 4th best stand or 7th best stand. That's a lie. 6th best stand.
That's understandable.
4th best stand or 6th best stand.
What's in the when it is the 6th best stand? What is the what takes the 4th and 5th place?
I cannot tell you that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can tell you that GER is above it.
GER.
There's 2 other stands that are 100% above it as well. All the
Star
time.
Platinum and the World.
You see, no, but that's a nice try.
Dude, Brandon, no, you're an idiot, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So Jotaro Kujo, right? Stops time, right? And then he uses Starfinger and he pokes a funny Valentine's eye out, right? And
you can't do that. Funny Valentine's in the barrier.
Because let me finish. Because time is stopped, right? He can't redirect that misfortune. And
no,
so
it would happen.
Directly hits
Direction
him.
would.
No, it wouldn't.
No,
It wouldn't. I don't think so.
You're going to have to trust me on this.
You're going to have to trust me on this. I don't believe you. You're wrong.
You're going to have to trust me on this.
Dude, I know. I'm a true JoJo's fan.
That's true. That's so true. That's so true. You are a true JoJo's fan. So, D4C before Love Train, we get to see Diego and Hot Pants, a very interesting combination there, fight against the president and D4C plane, D4C reg, if you will, while Lucy is becoming the corpse. What do you think of the little Diego fight?
Actually, I'm a fan of Diego. I'm a big fan of that guy. He's funny. He
is a pretty cool guy.
Yeah, he's definitely in the top 4. I'm not sure where I would place him, but top 4 being Johnny, Gyro, Hot Pants, and Dio. Yeah.
Yeah, so here we get to see a bit more of Scary Monster's prowess. And Kyle and I were talking about it last night. And Kyle said something that I didn't agree with. Kyle said that this fight shows that Scary Monsters is S tier. And I was like, Kyle, that's not true. It's just not true. But Scary Monsters is a very good stand. I would put Scary Monsters in A because of the combat capabilities it gives Diego. Dino Age is pretty good, right? And the fact that Diego almost beat base D4C. Now, he had the help of Hot Pants and Cream Starter, right? But Scary Monsters itself is a pretty strong ability. The heightened senses, the Dino Age, funny, right? And also the ability, Diego can hurt stands directly. Because he can, if he has, claws, that's, his stand ability. So he can hurt stands directly.
Because he is his own stand.
Yeah. It's kind of like how Dio was a vampire. That's the parallel there. I tell you, I'm a fake fan. I only just realized that, last night.
He's a dinosaur because that's the parallel, dinosaurs and vampires, because they're so similar. They're practically the same thing.
Because dinosaurs used to rule the Earth back 65 million years ago in the base universe. Instead of the giant lizards, and now it's giant lizards.
OG universe, base universe means something different.
Yeah. Based universe, more like. Am I right?
Yeah. This is the universe where everything is based. Dude, I really hope in the anime that is the exact line that is said, that 2 or 3 times.
I really
because
hope so.
Oh my gosh, it'll be
everything is based in this universe.
So much. Everything is based in this universe.
Yeah. I think it's a fun little fight. And we get to see more of D4C. So now we can talk about who shot Johnny Joestar in the context of D4C's ability, Trevor. D4C's ability is not as it was originally described. You will have people say oh no, it wasn't retconned. D4C's ability was retconned. because it was originally explained as allowing alternate realities to exist at the same time. That's just, I guess you could pigeonhole that ability into D4C's final, like true ability. Just D4C's ability doesn't allow Who Shot Johnny Joestar to happen, just plainly. There's too many abilities. D4C can make things travel to a different dimension if they're caught between two things. That's D4C's ability, right? And just Who Shot Johnny Joestar just doesn't work with. I have a good video I can send you. But I mean, I still like Who Shot Johnny Joestar as a plot thing, but D4C's ability definitely was changed. Yeah. So that was the funny thing of you were like trying to explain to me how D4C's ability worked based off of Who Shot Johnny Joestar, and I was like, I understand. I was like, I can't say any more on it. My understanding of it was, yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, but I enjoyed all your theories on it. It's definitely D4C is very overcomplicated with Who Shot Johnny Joestar. Whenever its final ability is pretty simple, still very good, but pretty simple, especially in comparison. I think Araki realized that. He was like, I don't know how I can write this to be terribly like super whatever, you know. It's kind of like what you call it. I mean, we'll get more into Pale Snake with Part 6, but like kind of with the ability that was first shown with the cum room. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not a huge fan of the cum room. I mean, if I was in there, I'd be a huge fan of it if I was in the cum room, right?
Yeah.
It's just that I'm not in there. I need to be in the cum room with Jotaro Kujo. Jolene's fine too.
It's so true.
Yeah, and so then we get Diego's death. I thought Diego's death was pretty sad, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't deserve the death.
Because he was so close. I thought it was smart how Hot Pants transformed him into one of the Valentines. And you have to insta-kill them, right? That's the thing with Valentine. Is if he can get anything caught between two things, he's going to switch. It happened with water. So Diego had to go for the insta-kill. Almost killed him, jumped out of the train with him. Valentine's hair, a strand of his hair, got caught between the wheel and the track, and he was able to use D4C. That is part of the reason D4C is insane. Like, Diego almost had him. Like that's a big feat. Diego and Scary Monsters almost beat base D4C. But just base D4C is just too insane. Like, Valentine's hair
honestly,
got stuck between
honestly, if they changed it in the anime so where like it was like an actual part of his body instead of his hair, I would very much appreciate that, because it's kind of stupid that that his hair, which is only like kind of part of you, right? Your hair can get ripped out and like you're gonna be completely fine. It's like that's the equivalent of clothing in reality, because like your hair's not alive, so why should the ability work on your hair? I mean, if that's the case, then like, I mean, yeah, that's very obvious, like that he would grow his hair out like that, but like it's just really stupid.
I mean, I'm fine with it because I think it just goes to illustrate how good base D4C is. Because there are some people who say base D4C isn't an S tier stand, and like it is.
Oh no, it's definitely an S tier.
Yeah, it's definitely an S tier stand, and I mean that just helps to prove it, right? But what you call it? Yes, and then Diego dies, and he's like, "I won, didn't I?" It is sad, and especially seeing Johnny and Gyro watch, and then Johnny being like, "Dio's dead," and then I think that's the moment that it kind of hit me, my first read through of like, "Oh, this is it. Like, this is in game right here." Like you already know, because it's like, oh, here's D4C, here's Valentine, he's the big bad of the part, right? But then like just Johnny and Gyro watching that and just being like, Dio's dead, and then just Dio dying is like, whoa, right? We're here. And then we get Johnny and Gyro talking to each other, and they're like, yada yada. They both share a secret with each other. So here we learn that Gyro's real name is Julius Caesar Zeppeli, or Julius Caesar Zeppeli, which is the exact same name of Caesar in part 2. His name is Julius Caesar Zeppeli.
Yeah, I guess that. I was like, oh, that's why he had a little bit of a Freudian slip last episode. That's what it was.
What did I call Caesar? Did I call Caesar Gyro? That's it. Did I call Gyro Caesar?
No. What you said that Lucy Steele was the first character that was like kind of based off of a character from the OG universe. and then you're like, oh wait, no, Gyro, because he has a different name.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, because I was like, well, you have Lucy Pendleton versus Erina Pendleton, and so I was like, this is the first character that like is based off a character, but like doesn't have their name, like they're because Johnny Joestar is Jonathan,
and then
Joestar,
and then
Dio Brando
yourself
is obviously
because,
Diego. Well, yeah, because Gyro is actually an example of a character who has the same name.
I
didn't. Yeah,
he does.
So I didn't have a Freudian slip, but like I did. So that's the funny part. I didn't mean it that whatsoever. Like I was thinking of Gyro's name as Gyro.
But that's what a Freudian slip is. It's like,
oh my gosh,
you don't even realize that you're doing
dude,
it.
I don't even
You're
I don't
wrong. You're
dude,
wrong.
I don't
You're
I
wrong.
dude,
You're
I don't
wrong,
even
and you're wrong.
I don't even want to kiss my mother, dude. How can I have a Freudian slip?
That's an Oedipus complex, my guy.
And so then Johnny tells Gyro, right?
Uh-huh. He's
that
like,
I got a little fetish. I got a little fetish. That's so true, Johnny. I don't understand it, but you do you.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, they've cut up. It's time for the final battle. D4C. And what happens here is they're going towards it, and then everything's coming towards them. That's weird. What's going on? Lucy Steele is becoming one with the corpse, and it has awakened a new ability. A barrier that redirects misfortune. Love Train. And Valentine is able to use this barrier. He's the only one that's able to use it. He uses it in tandem with T4C. It is an upgrade to T4C, despite coming from the corpse. So it is D4C Love Train. I don't know if had you ever heard that name before? Had Kyle or I ever said Love Train or D4C Love Train before?
Love Train? Yeah.
Yeah. I figured, but yeah. So like whenever I first read Steel Ball Run, like I think I had a vague idea of what D4C did. I had no clue what Love Train did. I had zero clue whatsoever. And
I mean,
barrier,
I knew exactly what it did because we had talked about the stand of Jesus Christ, because Jesus Christ is a Joestar. And I was really surprised that I saw it here in a character that's completely unrelated to Jesus Christ.
I know,
obviously.
That's so weird, isn't it? But yeah. So funny redirects misfortune. Kind of insane, you could say. It's kind of stupidly insane. And then Johnny and Gyro are kind of like.
But as he says, right, it redirects misfortune to like people who deserve it. As it's kind of like karma.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you call it, and it's like in different time periods too. So like we see that one of I think it was Johnny's bullets gets redirected to like a dude getting domed by a bat, like next to like a modern car. So like that's the funny Love Train. Is it just redirects misfortune everywhere? Yeah. But kind of insane. And Johnny's like, "Ooh, woo, I'm so sad," and he loses a hand.
Johnny does not say "ooh, woo." Take it back.
He does, dude. He does say it, dude. He literally says "ooh, woo." And he loses a hand. And he's like, "Gyro, we can't do it." And this is where Gyro he goes back because before the thing, Gyro and Johnny talked about something. We have Gyro talking about the natural speed of a horse, right? If a horse gallops with the golden ratio, right? The natural, most free state of the horse's gallop through the stirrups, which were invented, right? That's what he was talking about with the stirrups. Yep. Then that energy can be used in tandem with the spin user throwing with the golden ratio to do something to achieve a new level, right? Gyro had said, I've just heard legends of this. He said, it's just legend passed down. I've never seen anyone do it. He said, but a horseback racer might be able to do it, right? Someone like the Joestars, right? Might be
so cool
because
obviously the first person we're going to see do this, right, is going to be a professional jockey and not an executioner. That would never happen.
Obviously, it would never happen. It would never happen whatsoever. And then we get honestly, I loved this. Well, there was a couple things I loved. One panel that I loved was Johnny and Gyro whenever they get here and they see the ocean and they're like, we really went across the whole continent. Like, I love that panel and like just that realization of like, it truly has been a bizarre adventure, hasn't it?
It's so true.
You know what you call it? Coming full circle with that of like, we've come a long way, literally and like spiritually and like metaphorically and theoretically and any kind of ickily, I'm gay straight up, that kind of deal. I love that. That was a neat little panel. I love the panel or the little sequence where after Gyro tells Johnny about this, and Johnny's like I need the corpse, right? Because my legs moved. Like I can even move my legs a little bit. He almost stands up. So he is getting his ability to walk back, right? That's why he needs the corpse. And they're going to go rescue Lucy, right? And Johnny puts his feet into the stirrups for the first time in the entire story. And then they go off to fight Valentine. I love that. I love that scene so much. I'm like, we're getting, dude, we're here. We're here. It's D4C time. And then we get Love Train. What'd you think of the little Johnny Gyro Love Train fight in general? So far, what you've read so far, at least.
Yeah. So, it's interesting. We get to see, as I like just said, we get to see Gyro use the funny horse spin, and cut off. I almost said Dio. Wow.
That's so true.
Dude, part 1. What?
Dio is the final villain of Steel Ball Run. That's so accurate.
Exactly. We get to see Gyro like smack off a Valentine's ear, right?
You get to see Gyro beat off Valentine. It's my favorite part.
Dude, I love that scene so much. I can't wait for them to animate it.
Can't wait for them to animate it. That's so true.
So he beats off Valentine and prevents Valentine from killing Johnny, and then Steven Steele, right, picks up Lucy and pulls Lucy away from the train, and then he's like, Gyro, you gotta take her away from here. And then Gyro is like, man, I really wish I could, but I don't let women on my horse.
That's
and
so
that
true.
was the end of the story. They lost.
So true. Nothing ever happened again. Bro, Steven Steele is legit. I don't know how you feel about him.
Legit.
Steven Steele is awesome.
Based as hell.
Steven Steele is awesome, bro. Dude was literally fighting a guy who cannot be hurt. Literally is protected by theoretically Jesus Christ, who is the president of the United States. And Steven Steele was like, bitch. Steven Steele's I love Steven Steele. I'm so glad Araki didn't make him a pedophile.
Exactly, dude. I hated him so much at the very beginning. I was like, dude, I just do not like this guy. And then he turned out to not be a pedophile, and I was like, dude, this is amazing.
Steven Steele is awesome. He just wants to save her. She's his daughter.
Yeah, Steven Steele is the exact opposite of Mountain Tim.
That's so true.
Alive. Tim's just like, this guy is so cool, and then he hits on a married woman. That's the only problem.
Rip. But yeah, so Love Train, I quite like it. I quite like this little bit of Love Train that we get. I think that it's interesting to see Johnny's little, he's like, this is pointless. There's no hope here. Then Gyro was like, I thought so too, but then look at this. There's hair. So Gyro is trying to get that spin off, and it's working. Because as was explained, nothing travels through to the other world except for gravity, which is the funny word given, right? You don't know just how funny gravity is yet because we're not done with part 6.
No, it gets worse. It gets worse, dude. I saw that panel and I was like, wow, it's gonna be Hanged Man all over again. Dude,
I saw I took a picture. I took a screenshot of the funny gravity word and I sent it to Kyle. But I think it's done very well in part 7, where it's like gravity remains the same, right? And so basically, what was it? It said if something is able to travel with gravity or travel past gravity, it would be able to go.
If it had the power of gravity, it would be able to be able to not die.
Dude,
it'd be
Lang
able to hold
Wrangler.
itself together.
Dude, Lang Wrangler solos D4C Love Train. Dude, I love Lang Wrangler so much. Literally my favorite character.
No freaking way.
Dude.
Oh my gosh, dude. You want to know what I just realized?
What did you just realize?
Okay. Echoes Act 3. Absolute counter, dude.
Absolute,
just
that's
straight
true.
up counter.
That's
It
true.
would just counter D4C.
Just counters. It's hard counter.
Yeah.
Just like, you don't know November Rain yet, but Catch the Rainbow hard counters November Rain. I'll stand by that. I don't care. I'm gonna hard stand by Catch the Rainbow hard counters November Rain. At least as far as we understand November Rain. I don't know.
That's in JoJo Lands, right?
Yeah, part 9. It doesn't exist yet, Trevor. Don't worry.
Yeah,
you still got JoJo's line to
all
go
of part
through.
8.
Yeah, you still got JoJo's line to go through. Just
I can't wait.
Just a little bit longer.
I can't wait for Jolene. That's my favorite part.
That's so true. Jolene is my favorite part. But yeah, this little part of Love Train is fun because then you get Gyro rescues Lucy and they're going. And Johnny has to avoid because the wounds, even if it's just a little cut, it's misfortune. It's being redirected away from Love Train, from the barrier. So it's like going like up and like towards their like heart or whatever. So it's like bad. It's very bad. And then Johnny straight up loses his hand, and the wound is like making it up. And so he shoots himself with Tusk to make the bullets go. By the way, Trevor, I don't know if it's been explicitly said. Johnny can use all phases of Tusk.
Yeah, I mean, I figured.
So I remember whenever we were first talking about Tusk, and you were like, it's different from Echoes, and then he can't go back and use past ones. I was like, I thought I remember a specific instance where he used Act 1 again after Act 2, but like I don't remember seeing that now.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is the first time that we ever see him use Act 1 again, because it wasn't
Act 1, it was Act 2.
Several. Oh, okay. Well, he did shoot several shots, and they regenerated faster than they were like supposed to.
Well, he could have eaten herbs, probably. He has herbs on him that make him regrow.
No, he didn't. It wasn't shown, so it didn't happen. That's how it
true.
Works, Brandon.
I'm so sorry.
Everyone knows that it has to be shown, or it didn't
happen. I'm so sorry, Trevor. I apologize so profusely for that. I am such a fake fan. I'm such a fake fan. I should go back to Phantom Blood and rewatch that to re-up my knowledge on the spin. Yeah. So then Gyro goes into the ocean, and we see it's parting for Lucy. It's like, oh, that's kind of funny, right? And so Gyro's like, okay, I'm in the ocean, right? Valentine can't switch out here because if he switches out here, he's going to drown. So he's in the ocean. He's challenging Valentine. He says, look, balls to the walls, no dick, no balls, no asshole probably. I'm going to kill you now. And Valentine's like, my ear is gone. Right? That's not great. Something to do with the horse. Right? Something to do with the horse and Gyro's spin. That's kind of interesting.
Yep. And that's all Johnny's, because it ends like right after that.
And Johnny's like, Valentine's gonna. He knows, right? Valentine knows he's gonna be able to counter it. Gyro needs 2 shots, but he only has 1, and then that's where it ends. So,
yep.
Well, overall, Trevor, what are your feelings on this section that we went over?
On just Love Train.
Yeah. Well, Love Train and this entire chapter bunch.
Okay. So, like I said at the beginning, did I say that at the beginning? I might have said that before we started recording. It's cool. It's cool that we finally get to see like how D4C actually works. Yeah. And as Brandon already knows, I was like, okay, I have stuff that I want to talk about because of like, it's very, very kind of important to like how the power works. Mm-hmm. And now that we actually know how the power works, I can actually like be correct. Yeah. And so, I ended up writing like 2.25 pages in 12-point font. 11-point font, my bad. 11-point font, and it's single spaced. So yeah, I kind of wrote a lot just to like make sure I had all of my all of my thoughts down together. And so yeah, unless you wanna talk about something else before I start this.
No, go on.
Okay. So, in Love Train, you finally get to see how D4C works, and most of this is fine. But there is a slight problem with, Funny Valentine's doubles. Like when he goes to other universes and like he has like other versions of himself. That's probability. And probability, it's often misunderstood. And you add the fact that we're dealing with infinite, like near parallel universes, it's the exact same thing, with like slight differences, and it gets like really complicated, right? So looking at basic probability, right? have you ever heard of the statistic? It's a bad statistic. It's completely not correct. But the statistic is there's a 50% chance that you make a basketball shot because you either make it or you don't. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
The 50% chance of you winning the lottery because you either win it or you don't.
Exactly. It's very clearly awful statistics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so because like if I was sitting right where I am right now and I was to throw a basketball to the nearest basketball hoop, I would have to go through a brick wall. And on top of that, the basketball hoop is easily 600 feet away. There is a 0% chance that I make it, not a 50% chance. And then like if I was on the other hand, if I was at the basketball hoop, right? I had a step ladder so I could like just drop the ball directly in. I would have a 100% chance of making it. And so, you know, obviously it's wrong. Where was I?
Talking about
I
D4C
looked
and
away and I
why
lost
it's
my spot. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. But you know, obviously, I'm looking at the statistic wrong because the statistic isn't actually like, oh, would you make the basketball shot? It's under standard conditions, would you make the basketball shot?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, let's call standard conditions, you know, regulation, court, hoop, ball, and, you know, at standard temperature and pressure. So, you know, that's 20 degrees Celsius in 1 atmosphere. So just like at 1 atmosphere at sea level, that's the pressure that we're dealing with. Nothing crazy hot or crazy cold or like super like dense, not like thousands and thousands of pounds of pressure like pressing down on you.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just like super normal stuff. And let's say that I'm shooting from anywhere inside the 3-point line, because honestly, in reality, I wouldn't trust my skills to make it, you know, outside the 3-point line, and so I wouldn't go for that. And so looking at even those conditions, I've narrowed it down so much. But even then, I still wouldn't even make that 50% rate because, you know, I'm incredibly short. I'm also not very good at basketball. So the chances that I make half of those shots, you know, it's negligible.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, it's wrong. However, I just lied to you, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I believe you.
I took this statistic, right? This statistic that 50%, and I labeled it onto myself. That's not what the statistic is there for. The statistic doesn't say a 50% chance that you would make it. It's a 50% chance that someone would make it, because you don't have enough information to say whether or not they are on top of that step ladder or whether or not they are, you know, 600 feet away and inside. You know, you don't have enough information, and so it is clearly you either make it or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, like let's another example like this, right? Let's have 2 basketball teams, right? You have the red team and you have the blue team. Okay, Brandon, which one do you think is going to win? They're going to play a basketball game, normal basketball game. Which one's going to win?
Blue.
Blue? All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to bet that the red team is going to win. So we can wait for the basketball results. And oh, dude, wouldn't you know the basketball results just came in?
Awesome. That's sick.
Yeah.
That was
and
a quick
so
game.
it was. And luckily for you, the blue team won. Now,
That's
would you
awesome.
like to know? Would you like to know what team was the blue team and what team was the red team?
I guess so.
Okay, so the blue team was the Utah Jazz.
Hell yeah.
The red team was my 8-year-old not 8. He's not 8. He's 9. My 9-year-old cousin's elementary school basketball team.
Uh-huh.
Now, before you knew what the teams were, what would you have said the probability is that the blue team would have won?
100-0 because I picked them.
No.
50-50.
No, like
50-50.
Genuinely, it would have been 50-50 because you don't know enough about what the teams are. But looking after the fact, in retrospect, it's very clear that there was a 100% chance that the Utah Jazz were going to beat my 8-year-old or my 9-year-old cousin. You know?
Yeah, they were going to beat him
It's
up.
very, very clear what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And yeah. And so now we're going to add infinity into the mix. We'll keep,
sick.
Yeah, we're going to keep everything the same, right? The only thing that is going to change is what the blue team is. So, it's on a regulation court with a regulation ball and regulation hoops for an elementary school team, right? And the team is always my 9-year-old cousin's basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
And because this is infinite number of universes, right? Each version doesn't influence any other universe.
Yeah.
So, in this scenario, the probability that they win is 50-50 because there is a chance, that they're facing the Utah Jazz, but there's also a chance that they're facing 5 ants.
That's so true.
In which case, they're obviously going to win. And in reality, they have infinite universes where they win and infinite universes where they lose. And so then you get to the point where it's you either win or you don't. And then you have that 50-50 number.
Yeah.
Now, applying this to how D4C works, right?
Okay, yes.
And we start running into some weird things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as we have stated, if Funny Valentine is dealt a fatal blow, he can go into a different universe before he dies. And in this different universe, Valentine dies and D4C changes its user to a different version of Valentine.
Yes.
And initially, there is no problem with this. We have seen stands that can willingly change their user, and given that Valentine is still Valentine in every universe, it is completely logical that D4C would be able to pick which Valentine he belongs to.
Mm-hmm.
So, even if both Valentines were alive, it would be reasonable to say that D4C could change user. I fully believe that is something that could happen. Do I think it would happen? No. But could it happen? Probably. The problem that we now face is how does the new Valentine know what to do?
The memories go into him.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So I'm just
like
gonna
he's
skip, the next
essentially
2 paragraphs.
Yeah, he's essentially the same Valentine. Like the memories overwrite. Like he just instantly knows. Yeah.
So, that's what I figured. But without the information of a definite the memories go into him, I was like, there's 2 scenarios. Either he has informed a handful of duplicates of himself what is going on and has to keep them updated because they wouldn't be able to know what is going on in the based universe. Or memory transfer. And I ended up being
D4C is like
likely
Valentine's soul, so the memories are there. So yeah.
And so I was like, more than likely, it's both. He does have a couple that he keeps informed, and that's why in the scene with Dio, there was 3 of him because there is only one D4C, despite D4C being drawn 3 times, which I'm kind of confused how that happened. I figured it will make more sense in the anime when it's animated, and it's animated in such a way that it explains it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or just Araki shows fast movement with doubles, right?
Yeah.
And so so more than likely what is going on is he has a couple duplicates, right, that he has informed what is going on, and this is his main group, right? He's going to want to go to those people first. And so then after those people have been used, he goes to a random universe, right?
Well, I think with D4C, you can't control what universe you go to. It's just a parallel universe.
You would have to be able to control what universe you're going to, because he says to the one that he gets Dio and Hot Pants from, the Diamond universe that he gets them from. He says to him, "I will be back."
Oh, okay. So he probably can then.
Yeah. So I think that he can control what universe he's going to, and I he wouldn't know anything about that universe until he's been there, and that is a very specific thing that I want to add because each universe is slightly different, right? we see several every universe that we see, they're fighting over diamonds, but it wouldn't necessarily have to be diamonds. It could be rubies, it could be emeralds, it could be gold, it could be playing cards. There's so many things that it could be, because there's slight differences. But if you have a slight difference of a slight difference of a slight difference of a slight difference, which you would have to have with infinite parallel universes, you would get to the point where you have universes where Valentine's equivalent, his double, isn't in a place where D4C can jump over to him.
Well, I think that's the thing where with D4C, whenever he goes to an alternate universe, it will go to a universe in which Valentine is in a very similar, if not exactly similar position. Like that could be how D4C filters the infinite universes. Is that, okay, I'm going to another universe, right? Sending to another universe, right? Maybe Valentine hasn't been to this one. We've run through all the ones he's been through. Which universe has one that Valentine is closest to? That's what I think anyways.
Yeah, but like in order for that to be the case, D4C would have to have an understanding of literally every single universe.
Well, it doesn't have to have it could just be like a natural thing. Like maybe the next universe that it goes to is just naturally the one with Valentine in the most similar position. Like, because as far as we understand it, these parallel universes are created by D4C. Because D4C is the only stand that we see take advantage of them. And so it could also be that these universes are created as D4C jumps to them. Theoretically. We just don't know because it's never expanded on to that kind of degree.
That's the biggest problem with
I would also say that
abilities is we just don't have enough information.
It's also interesting of there's a little bit of a plot hole kind of with it. I love D4C, I love the stand, I love the arc, I love part 7. There is a little bit of a plot hole with it, where specifically, funny back in Who Shot Johnny Joestar, where you have Diego in the Diamond World there. There's two things that should not happen. One, Diego having scary monsters. That shouldn't have happened. He got that stand from a corpse part because he was infected by scary monsters, and then because he got the eye with it, scary monsters became the stand.
That's not necessarily a plot hole, because we have seen other people get stands that are not from corpse parts. So it.
Well, yeah, but why would he have scary monsters? Because that was Dr. Ferdinand's stand. Maybe it's like a fate.
Well, it doesn't.
Maybe it's like
matter.
Scary Monsters was fated to be his. The thing that's really weird is Johnny having Tusk. I guess you could say he awakened it on his own, but Tusk originally was directly described as the guardian of the left arm. And then, it evolved into Acts 2 and 3, and we see him use Act 3 in the other world.
In Who Shot Johnny Joestar, did we actually see Tusk's physical form?
We didn't, but we saw Johnny coming out of the hole he created.
Well, yeah.
Or did we? Or did he just come through the thing?
I think he just in that universe he just came out of the manhole cover, and so theoretically he
he has some form of Tusk.
Developed a yeah. But
I guess you could say again it's like a fate thing.
Yeah.
Or it's just he was fated to develop Tusk, just like Dio's fated to develop scary monsters. It just happens.
Yeah, and so
with without a corpse part, because there's multiple ways. So yeah,
and Dio does have Tusk. Not Tusk. Dio has Tusk.
That's so true.
Dio does end up having scary monsters regardless of having the eye, because Valentine has the eye, and we still see him use his scary monster.
But it's just like Tusk. It's just like
so.
Johnny using Tusk without a corpse part. It just became his.
Yeah. And so
I guess you could say that plays in the
fate. Part of the fate thing. So either each universe does have specific things that are fated to happen, based off of the based universe.
Mm-hmm.
Or, D4C does in fact create the universes, and that's a possibility that I didn't think about, and I should have thought about it.
Yeah, I've been thinking through it more as we've gotten into this, thinking through it, and that's one thing I thought of. I was like that definitely could, right?
Yeah,
because we just don't know the scope of things. But it's very interesting to think about, especially with everything you were saying. D4C can be pretty complex.
Yeah. But back to what I was saying with the probability and everything. So in the off chance that that we'll call like what Brandon, like those two ideas as an overestimation of D4C is like pure abilities. On the other side, an underestimation of his abilities is that there literally are just infinite number of parallel timelines, and that he is just jumping to one randomly in hopes that he lands in a valid one. Right? If that is the case, then each time that he hops, to do his like death swap thing, he gets it's a smaller chance to have another successful jump following that, right? So the first one, it's 50%, right? It's either he makes it to one that does have Valentine in a valid spot, or one that doesn't. And then from there, to make a second one, it's a quarter, and then it's a 12th, then a 6th, and then by the time that you've made 7 like swaps, right, you have a 99.2% chance of Valentine just not being able to like be in a valid spot. So like if you just kill him enough times, right, he'll just actually be dead. It's fine. You don't have to do the funny water thing. You just gotta kill him enough.
You gotta kill him a whole lot.
Not like 7 times.
It was once or twice. Just once or twice. It's fine.
It's easy though. It's easy. You didn't do that.
Look, you just gotta get lucky. I mean, Valentine is bound to be unlucky sometimes, right? Oh.
Exactly. No. You just have to. Okay. No. Okay, so we know that like D4C he can use Love Train, right? D4C can use Love Train, but why can he use Love Train? Because he has the power over gravity. But the funny golden ratio horse spin thing gives enough gravitational spin, even though that's not how gravity works, to overcome
I say don't focus too much on
power,
gravity.
and so he hits his ear, and then he gets hurted, and so theoretically the steel ball, you could just spin it hard enough, and then it would have gravity, and it would be able to go into the misfortune thing, and it would be able to hurted him.
I say don't focus too much on the gravity word. It's more the funny word for part 6. I just thought it was funny that they said it in part 8. That's so true, isn't it? And that they said it in part 7. No, I didn't realize. D4C is able to use Love Train because the corpse is Valentine's ally. Because that's why. Objectively, the corpse chose him to say. And so that's how he's able to utilize Love Train and no one else is.
I don't believe you.
That's so true. I'm so sorry, Trevor.
The corpse chose Johnny.
No, that was Jesus that did that.
Yeah, it's Jesus' corpse.
What? Where? Dude, that would make so much sense, though.
It would make so much sense, though.
I don't know. We're just gonna have to finish the series up, I guess, and then we'll figure out what you call it. And then we'll figure out who. Maybe we'll finally be able to figure out who the corpse is of.
Yeah.
I'll have to sit on that theory that it's Jesus. Well, do you have any final words, Trevor? Anything else you want to expand upon? Did you read all your stuff?
Yeah, I did.
All right. Well, any final little thoughts here?
No.
All right. Well, we're gonna finish it, Trevor. Next episode is the final episode.
We sure are.
We have, what is it? 83, 84, 85, 13 chapters left.
Yep.
A Steel Ball Run, and then we have finished part 7. Are you excited?
Yep, I sure am. I'm excited to read Julian.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Because I
I'm really looking forward to
Julian, so I can participate in with the part 9 stuff.
That's so true. I'm really looking forward to reading Julian too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of theory crafting and stuff like that. So
yeah.
I'm excited to do some theory crafting with you and Kyle.
It's gonna be very fun. Yeah, if you're this far in the video, obviously there's something you like, so make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. telling us why you love gravity so much. And I don't know what's next. I don't know when this is going on. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.